Alright, time to cover 5 more of these vile, disgusting, pot-bellied freaks of their universe. The freaking weirdos with the crazy-ass mechanics that clearly give them an edge or disadvantage. It gives them advantage or disadvantage in the games they're from. Either way, we about to cover 5 more cool, unique fight game mechanics. This is legit round 5. I don't know how long this series is gonna goddamn go. I haven't even touched Persona yet, so I guess when we get there, it's probably gonna get even weirder. I already know one character is gonna be on there, but we'll get there when we get there. Let's deal with these goddamn weirdos. Instead of being a disgusting freak, she actually created the disgusting freak, which is the main character, Ragnar and Blazblue. But we're talking about Rachel today, and Rachel Sylphid is ridiculous. It's such a weird thing, especially for how old it is, considering it was in the first Blazblue game. They came up with some crazy stuff early on, but I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Also, I'm calling it Sylphid. But what it does is it literally just commands the wind in all 8 directions. So there's a bunch of weird things you can do with it. I'm not going to go down the list. It pretty much lets you free ball. I'm going to give you the basics of what it can do. Is you can control her projectile speed and the angles of them. So basically, if you control the wind properly, you can have damn near infinite angles. You have a projectile supposed to land right in front of you, go all the way full screen slowly. You can make it go behind you instead if you blow the wind backwards, all that stuff. Or you can control the opponent's movement. So if someone jumps, you can blow the wind down to drag them back to the floor faster. Or you can blow the wind backwards towards their air dash to try to like lower how fast or how far it goes. If it was going to go full screen or like half screen, you can have it go to a quarter of the screen instead. She can legit fly off of the screen with it if she just uses like all her wind gauge to go up, which does regenerate on its own as long as you're grounded. And then on top of that, she can slide George, which is this frog she throws that walks very slowly, but once it reaches the opponent, it'll lock them in place. It'll zap itself, and it zaps the opponent like 8 hits. So it's a good Oki tool, but you can have him slide across the screen faster to the opponent, or make him go slower. Or you can even extend combos, obviously. So if you do something like a sweep that would knock someone down, you can blow the wind up to make them float longer instead of touching the ground immediately. And that will give you time to recover out of your sweep and then punish them or get a full combo. So this is a character I don't know how to play. I'm gonna be honest, I cannot play this character at all. I've tried a few times, but I do not have the skill. Besides, I played her a little bit in cross tag battle. But she had to be on the list. Honestly, she's one of the OGs when it comes to weirdos, and Arc System Works are the king of making weird ass characters. So Rachel had to go here. Aquaman from Injustice with the Water of Life. Now, in Injustice, everybody has a trait, and we already know Aquaman is a freak. We know, I don't know, bruh, it's Atlantis. I haven't seen many women in Atlantis. I don't know what he be up to. Like, we ain't talking about these stupid DC movies that's trash. I'm just saying, bruh. Those fishes, something be something in the water. That's all I'm gonna say, bruh. There's something white in the water and it's not milk. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, the Water of Life is very simple to explain. This segment's not gonna take long. It breaks you out of grounded combos. It's the only trait in the game, if I remember correctly, maybe Bane's. But I know for sure he pretty much has, you might as well say, he has the only one that's worth activating in the middle of being hit. If you're hit by a grounded string or grounded combo, you activate this and you will fall out of it and you'll be able to block, go for a wake up. I don't think it counts as a reversal, so it may not be invincible, but he does have options. I just think it's a kind of lackluster one because if you're airborne, this thing literally like does nothing if you're airborne, which most combos after like the second or third hit, you're probably going to be in the air, so it's not going to do anything. You have to react pretty quick. But it's still, you know, different because this game has no burst mechanic besides a clash, which you can only do in the second round. So it can get you out of combos in a weird way. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of like having a free burst, but way shittier. Not much to go in on here, but I feel like since this game doesn't really have a burst mechanic outside of clash, and this thing is not really a burst. It's kind of it's like making yourself slippery. Imagine Hakan oiling up and just randomly slipping out of combos. That's what it feels like. So Aquaman had to make it.
Have you considered your destiny? Do you believe in fate?
Manette from Street Fighter V with her crystal ball. Oh my god, the best girl, the queen, wifey, whatever the fuck you want to call her. Manette is crazy, bruh. Like, I didn't go in front. Street Fighter V might be potentially the worst Street Fighter game, and not to count the first one, because clearly nobody counts the first one. Fight me if you think otherwise, I don't care if you do, but I think it's one of the worst games. But we spawned some godlike characters, I can't lie. And Manette is probably the peak of the characters they spawned out of the game to me. Now, I'm not going to go into the full details of this crystal ball, because there's a lot of weird shit about it that I fully don't understand yet, because I fell off of this game like probably a few months after she came out. But this is what I'm going to go over, the basics of how this thing works. When the crystal ball has two states. It can be equipped to her, where she uses it with her normals to extend their range, stuff like that, on some normals obviously, and unequipped, which is when she sets it out somewhere, and her normals get way less range, but they change their properties. So something like crouching medium punch is usually just the poke, but if you don't have the ball equipped and you do medium punch, it becomes a cancelable attack. So you can have the orb behind them, and then something else you can do is recall the orb back, and it has a hitbox when it comes back. So if the orb is behind them, crouching medium punch, recall, orb hits them, and then you can keep the combo going afterwards. Stuff like that is what is possible when she has the orb in and out. And it's obviously kind of like a puppet thing in a way, but way less options as a whole. It makes the move's properties change. Like I said, her overhead usually doesn't do anything. It's just an overhead button, nothing special. But once you don't have the orb out, like if the orb is out, if you do your overhead, you can call it back and then get combos off of it that way. And then during certain attacks, the orb is considered inactive, or when you're getting hit when in the middle of it recalling. So if you call the orb back and you get hit, the orb is still going to return to you, but it can't hit the opponent. If you're blocking and they're trying to put pressure on you once you already recalled it, then it can hit them when it comes back, and that gives you a combo on their pressure or forces them to drop their pressure and give you your turn, which is kind of weird. If she calls back at the right time, she can steal the opponent's turn. She has different moves when the orb is in or out. Like she has a move where she can blow up the orb, like pretty much blast the orb, and if you're around it, it launches you into the air, which she can combo after. Or you can, if you have the orb with you, you get an anti-air command grab, which is literally Rose's soul throw from Street Fighter 4. So Manette has a lot, but like I said, I don't know the full details of the character, so if there's more I'm missing, y'all can let me know. But I haven't really seen anybody with a crystal ball since Viola, and from what I remember, Viola wasn't super crazy with hers, besides her super, because it pulled you towards it. But we're not going to talk about her right now. It's been a long time since we've seen that character, but I had to put her on the list. Beatrix from Blue Fantasy versus Rising with the Delta Clock. Now Blue, I will say this, maybe that's why people don't want to play this game. For Arc System work games, there is a lack of homunculus, you know? There is a lack of freaks in this damn game. But we do have a few that stand out, and Beatrix is probably the main one that's standing out right now, to me. But if there's any more, they'll get covered later. But when it comes to Beatrix, I have to say, bro, Delta Clock is a cool idea. It's just so bare bones that there's not enough depth to it. Like most characters in this game, there's not a lot of depth to the characters a lot of the time. But what Delta Clock does is any of your EX moves, first off, it only activates in two conditions. Either you land her command grab, or if your health is 30% or lower. Now, I guess the command grab has a double purpose because she takes damage, so it can put her closer to Delta Clock range, naturally. But what happens is if you land the command grab or you go into Delta Clock range, anytime you land the EX move up close on your opponent, then a slow clock will spawn around them. And that clock lasts for like a second or like half a second. But during the time that clock is out, it slows them down. So moves that you would normally not be able to combo after will become combo, like Normally you can't really combo off of her EXDP, but then there's ways to combo after once the Delta Clock happens. And even if you can't and you just land it wrong wake up, you do get a hard knockdown, but your knockdown you'll have more pressure on your knockdown, obviously, because now that the clock slowed them down a bit, you get to press and go for a mix now, since they're going to be on the ground longer than normal, since it took longer for them to land. Oh, that's pretty much the base of what she has. There's nothing else to talk about. And you know, let's want to talk about her? No, I ain't gonna talk about those right now. I'm gonna talk about the fun bags. Anyway, last person on the list. Let's go.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. Heaven or hell.
Oi, 全て受け止めてやる。勝負の後ならば何でも聞こう。
Nago Ryuki, Blood Rage from Guilty Gear Strive. So, with the whole Assassin's Creed Shadow of Yasuke stuff coming around, let's talk about this Yasuke Nago, bruh. So, Nago has a lot of crap going on with him, and it's all based around his Blood Rage mechanic. So, long story short, actually I can't say long story short, there's a lot to go over here. Number one, all of Nago's special moves, besides his command grab, build up the Blood Rage gauge you'll see at the bottom. And as the gauge builds, it'll have different properties. Pretty much what it does is at level 1, the sword gets longer. At level 2, pretty much all his sword attacks, so slashes and heavy slashes are what affect it. At level 2, it gets even longer, and I think it does a bit more chip damage. I think normals start doing chip at level 2 or something like that, if I remember correctly. But I know his normals do have chip on them. And of course, every sword attack drains blood gauge, so slashes and heavy slashes balance out his special moves. And you're thinking, why would you want to drain blood gauge? Because he even has a command grab built to instantly drain all of his blood gauge back down to 0. You would think, why would you want to drain it? Because blood rage is an install. Usually installs are good things. In this one, you don't have to spend meter on. You know what happens when you go into blood rage level 3? You damn near lose. Blood Rage level 3 is a non-roaming cancelable, non-burstable animation where you're just stuck sitting there. It has a hitbox on it that can knock people back, and the guard crushes if they block it, but I'm pretty sure even if you get guard crush, it's still punishable. But here's the thing about Blood Rage. Here's the biggest problem. Well, first things first, you lose access to every special move you have. You're pretty much, most Nagos are just going to do slash and heavy flash. If you have 100 meter, you can go into a super that he only has during Blood Rage that hits full screen, and that super will do a fuck ton of damage and instantly take him out of it. But if you use 100 meter, you're most likely going to do that and then just roam and cancel, so you don't have to worry about being in Blood Rage anymore since the super ends it. But the other problem is when you're in Blood Rage, you lose. You're guaranteed, if you don't come out of it early with that super, you're guaranteed to lose 50% of your health. So, in an install that takes away your special moves and loses 50% of your health, it's the closest, it's the best version of it. Of these limiter characters, I call them. Characters that in lore or in whatever reason have to hold themselves back. Azrael, Susano, for example. I like Susano's whole thing of having to lock his moves and hold himself back. But the thing is, with Nago, he's the god of edging. He's literally edging the whole fight. Because if he busts, he's gonna lose. You see that? That's why you ain't on your red pistol. Don't let me stop right there. But that's all I gotta really say on Nago. Like, there's more to Blood Rage than that alone. But the amount of problems it causes and the way your playstyle shifts as your blood gauge goes up. Like, once you get to level 3 and you're almost about to go into break, you're either gonna take a risk to try to get the command grab off, or, because this character has no regular dashes, so to dash you have to use Blood Rage. It's gonna make it go up more. His air game sucks, so you're pretty much gonna be walking going forward and abusing your range, hoping for the best. And you can't really capitalize on it in most cases because you usually build more Blood Rage than you drain in a combo. So it changes your whole play style depending on where your Blood Rage level is at. But that's all I'm gonna say about Nago right now. Let me know what y'all think, all of that stuff. Is there any other characters? Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Because I'm gonna still try to keep this series pushing. I do want to do series on other games as well. I may like dip into Borderlands a little bit. And I do want to do another fighting game related one, but on difficulty of the character, stuff like that. But that's it for me for right now. Like I said, like, subscribe, all that. Give me your suggestions for characters. True Kingston, and I'm out.